Hey, it's Ethan Skolnick for the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and I'm here today to tell you about a great new product that we've been actually using at the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We're going to use it even more when they add the NBA platform. Right now, we've been using the NFL platform. It's called Best Ever, and you can find it at bstevr.com. And what you can do with it is you can simulate just about anything. So you can play old teams against new teams, but you can also sub in different players. So one great use of this is that if you're going through a free agency or trade period like you are in the NBA right now, but also in the NFL with free agency going on prior to the draft, you can put players in to see how things would have played out if they'd been there last year. So, for example, our guy David Fernandez, who knows a lot about this site, bstevr.com, decided to basically play last year's New England Patriots against this year's New England Patriots. And, of course, it's not finished yet, but the Patriots have made a bunch of different additions in free agency. They spent a ton of money after their most disappointing season in 2 decades. No, they can't add Tom Brady back. They basically just re-signed Cam Newton, but they gave him some weapons, including a couple at the tight end position in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. And they also upgraded the defense with quite a few players, including Matthew Judon over at the linebacker position. They added Devon Godchaux from the Dolphins, a defensive tackle, and a bunch of other players. And so he played out this game. And this is what you can do. You can input this into the system. And essentially what it does is it spits out a game story and a box score. You can see it's a game recap, just like you would get in a newspaper, if anybody remembers newspapers, or you could get on a website like ESPN.com, but it plays out the game. And so what did you find? Well, look, simulations are going to run differently all the time, but you get a general idea. And essentially the new Patriots beat the old Patriots by a large percentage of the time. In this particular simulation that they ran, it was just 20-17. But Cam Newton threw for twice as many yards this time around as he did last time around. Now, why? Excuse me, I should say he threw for twice as many yards in the 2021 paradigm as he did in the 2020 paradigm with those players. Why? Because he had more weapons, right? He had more players to throw to. In fact, the 2 tight ends that I mentioned, Henry and Smith, they combined for 11 catches. They were 2 of New England's 3 leading receivers in the game. So you can see what the Patriots are trying to do here, and you can play it out through Best Ever, which is that they're trying to get back to the old days where they had a bunch of really good tight ends, whether it was Gronkowski or Benjamin Watson or any of the others that they've had throughout the years. They've always relied heavily on the tight end. Didn't really have that last year with Gronk in Tampa, and obviously Brady gone too. So this is what you can do with this platform. Again, they're going to start doing it with the NBA as well. With the NBA, it's going to be really cool because obviously, that whole league is narrative driven. Would Jordan's Bulls have beaten LeBron's Cavs? Or what if you switched the 2 players on the 2 teams? And then, of course, we're getting up to the trade deadline. So, I mean, for instance, if it was up right now, as people who covered the Miami Heat, we'd be looking at what the Heat are going to look like with Trevor Ariza as opposed to what they did before, or some of the other players that may get traded, maybe a John Collins, a Victor Oladipo, and sort of play that out. But this is an NFL product for right now, and you can sign up for free. It's bstevr.com. Again, that's bstevr.com. You can check out all the different simulations that other people have run there, like David, or just sign in and run your own and just play around with it. It's a great way to kill a half hour and kind of, again, settle in arguments. So it's a lot of fun. So go to bstevr.com. I do think once the Dolphins make their moves, they've added Will Fuller today, the receiver position. They're looking at running backs like Chris Carson. I think once that's done, we'll kind of see what they will look like this year as opposed to what they looked like last year. And if you're a bettor, this isn't a bad place to go to, because obviously we have some sponsors on our network that are betting platforms. Well, maybe if you want to see how a team's going to play out, you look at the futures coming on up into this upcoming season. If the Dolphins are winning a lot of their simulations, you may want to go over the number when that win total comes out. So again, a lot of fun. bstevr.com. And yes, we're a Dolphins network, a Heat network, but we ran a Patriots simulation. So we apologize for that. Again, check us out at 5reasonsports.com and also, of course, bstevr.com. Sign up. It's free.